Hey guys, Brandon here with Texas Plinking, finally doing a review and another video of any kind with the Springfield Armory M1A with the Ebr chassis. I say it like that because I got this gun back in, I think, late November, early December, and I've only shot it about twice. That's just because if you saw the video, I was having some problems with the optic, but Vortex took care of me. So anyway, now it's back up and running. I can finally make some more videos with it. I've already got it sighted in, didn't really bring you guys along for that just because it would have been pretty mundane, but it's all sighted in. So in this video, I'm going to go ahead and do like a full walkthrough and review on it. Also a 100-yard grouping with just a variety of different ammunition, which I already did. We'll just cover in this video. And then some attempts at long range all the way out to 750 yards. That's all going to be coming up in this video. But I guess the way I will break this down is just kind of review the Ebr system chassis in general through the M14 Ebr or the M39 EMR or the Mark 14, whatever you want to call it. Now I get that calling an M1A a M14 is like calling an AR-15 an M4. Yes, but no. I would say the most notable difference is this hollowed out piece right here, which on the M14 is a fire selector switch between semi and full auto, but the safety remains in the same position. Even if I could, I would probably not purchase this in full auto, just not the type of shooting I'm going to be doing with this kind of platform anyway. But that's pretty much the big difference. So although this is reviewing the M1A from Springfield Armory and the Ebr chassis, I just kind of want to talk about the development of the M14 Ebr in general. So excuse me for going into a brief history lesson for this review, but I thought it's interesting. So about the M1A and the Springfield Armory M1A and M14 in general, before we even get to that, we have to go to the M1 Garand. John Garand developed the M1 Garand, which is really, really cool because that was used in World War II, and we still have, for the most part, a very, very similar system still in service today. I mean, overall, the whole action and everything is just very, very similar in the same DNA. Big change would be instead of an 8-round overload clip, and on that clip, the last shot ejects the clip, which makes a very notable, very distinguished World War II sound. That ping of the M1 Garand was also chambered in 30-06. So after the war, it kind of got, tweaked a bit. Now it takes box mags and fires the 7.62x51 or the 308. So that was kind of some updates. I'm sure there's more here and there, but those are the big two ones that I take away. Other than that, though, the overall action and just the system has stayed pretty much for the most part the same. Came out with a walnut stock, and then so now you see it in some different iterations. The synthetic all the way to the Ebr. Sage International Ebr chassis system now makes this chassis for that same action. So it could continue to live on for the current end user needs, which is, more accessories, rails, and all that good stuff. But along with the different stock and chassis options, I guess it's also worth mentioning the barrel lengths. You can get 16, 18, and I would say most popular is how you see this one here with a 22-inch barrel with a 1-11 twist. But back to Springfield Armory for just a second, they also just recently announced an M1A chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor, and they actually announced that when this gun was on order, like when it was shipping to me. And at first I went, should I have waited? And then personally, if I'm going to get the Ebr or any kind of M1A, I personally want it in the 7.62x51 just to be kind of military correct or whatever, but the 6.5 Creedmoor version should be pretty interesting. So kind of back to how the current gun, the EMR or Enhanced Marksman Rifle, or the Ebr Enhanced Battle Rifle, the Mark 14, all the different names for it, pretty much the same thing, how it came into fruition. So it was originally planned for the use of Special Forces, the SEALs, Delta Force, all that, and since 2012 the U.S. Army has made 2 of these available per infantry platoon for units deploying in Afghanistan. The creation of the Ebr came in the year 2000 when the SEALs requested a more compact M14, and after that it's been in service since 2002 in this configuration. So I just think it's really cool. I like the Ebr in that it was able to extend the life of this system, like I've already said, so I think that's pretty cool. Same reasons I love the 1911, just for its age and how it's been able to serve for so long. And in that service, it has fought in the Iraq War, Afghanistan, and also the Syrian Civil War. So yeah, it's seen its fair share of combat. As far as its use in it, like the name would suggest, EMR, Enhanced Marksman Rifle or Enhanced Battle Rifle. This could be used as a marksman rifle, but from my understanding, a lot of people use this as kind of more precise suppression fire. That is to keep enemy heads down and all that kind of stuff. But if the operator had an opportunity to shoot this off target, I'm sure they took that as well. So anyway, that was kind of the quick layman's term summary of kind of how the M14 Ebr, the M39, or my M1A with the Ebr chassis system came to fruition and how it is now today. Now to kind of go back to the more production rifle for civilians, the Springfield Armory M1A, I think it retails for about $1,700. Again, that's retail. Street price, you could get it for a bit less. And the Sage chassis is around, from what I've seen on Gunbroker, I don't know what it retails for, but you can pick up the Sage chassis for I think $900 or in the lower thousands or something like that. Now I was able to pick this gun up on Gunbroker, pre-owned, set up the way you see it, of course minus the scope and the bipod and mag. Without those, I was able to pick up this whole system for $2,000. Now with that said, it's kind of a disclaimer in the accuracy report and all that stuff, not that it disappoints me by any means, but I don't really know the life of this gun. I don't really know, I'm sure I could find out with the serial number, I don't really know how old this M1A is, what point of its life, and you know, how many shots it fired through the barrel once it got into the Ebr chassis. I really don't know anything about it. When I picked it up, I looked at the barrel bore and it looked nice and bright and reflective, so it looks like it's in very good condition. With that said though, yeah, it starts at about retails for $1,700, and like I said, they offer the different barrel lengths, different stocks. In fact, you can't get the Ebr one direct from Springfield Armory right now. You can get 760x51 and 6.5 Creedmoor, like I already covered. To mine in particular here, like I said, I bought it with the Ebr chassis already installed, so I didn't really have to go through that, and I got it for a lesser cost, so I'm happy with that. What I had done to mine, I had to get these mags here. You will commonly see them as far as military applications anyway with these 20 round box mags. Also got a couple of 10 rounders. You can also see 5 rounders, but I think this one looks most correct for how you would normally see it. Go on this quick detached bipod manufacturer, I've already forgot, I'm not too sure, but I can take that off pretty quickly. Scope, I put a Vortex Viper PST 6-24x50 with the EBR-2C or EBR-C2 reticle, I forgot. But I chose this scope in particular because, well, I already had it lying around because I sold a rifle I had on before, but because this reticle has really, really great bullet drop compensation horizontally and vertically and all that kind of stuff. And I plan to not mill as much with this one and just purely use holdovers for the type of shooting I'll be doing with this one. Let's put this little forward adapting rail here if I ever want to run some kind of night light or something like that, because I think, although it could be a little cumbersome, I think it would be kind of fun to use it as a hog gun at night or something like that, especially when my suppressor gets in because it is threaded. Yeah, actually speaking of that, the way I have it set up right now, it weighs about 15 pounds more or less, which is pretty significant if you're doing bench rest shooting. Don't mind that too much if you're doing hog hunting stationary. Again, not too big of a problem, but massive respect to the guys who are wielding these around and still are overseas currently, because 15 pounds can kind of get to you eventually, I would imagine. So that's kind of all about that and how mine's set up. Real quickly, I want to run through the ergonomics on this because it could look like an absolute super chassis maze and confusing, but it's actually a very, very awesome chassis system. So let's just run through that real quickly, starting from the back. Nice padding right here that absorbs the recoil. Not that it has too much recoil, being a 308 and weighing 15 pounds, but anyway, that's nice. Adjustable comb height, and it's collapsible as well here. The way you get the comb height, you have this little lever right here. It takes a little bit of force, but just go ahead and pry that up. Then you see like this little silver thing in one of these holes. You have to get like a bullet's tip. That actually might be too fat, but like an Allen key or whatever. Once this lever's up, push in that little silver thing and click up once or click down once, and just one at a time until you get that right, but not a big deal. You can't really do that on the fly, but you're not really going to be doing that on the fly anyway. Just set it, forget it, and then lock that thing back down. To collapse the stock, I have it, I think right now, on the second to last furthest position, just for my current eye relief. We have this little button right here, so when you're shooting it with your hand, your thumb right here can just activate this right here, and then push in, and then nice little clicks, or pull out to where I had it, which was right there. Yeah, there's that. Like I said, on the standard M14, fire selector switch here, hollowed out for the M1A. Nice grip. I have to say, very ergonomic, rubberized as well. Really do like that. Safety is in here. If that block is in, then you're on safe. Force that out, you're on fire. Go ahead and drop the mag by pressing this little lever here, and it rocks out kind of like an AK. It'll be a little tricky. I've gotten better at it. Let's see, I say that, and then I'm going to be struggling here. Yeah, it could be a little tricky for someone like me who's just used to AR-15s and not really rocking mags in, but the more you do it, the faster you'll get. Anyway, rocked it out with that little button there. One of the most satisfying sounds in firearms. So many moving mechanisms there. You can't lock it back unless you do put the inserted mag in there, and then just, you know, rock it back with the empty mag. There is no like ping pong paddle like an AR-15 where you can just hold it open. So there it is. Make sure nothing is in there when I'm going to talk about the trigger. So it is clear. It's a 2-stage, and it's a heavier 2-stage as well. First one, I don't know if I had to guess, first stage is maybe 3.5 pounds, 4 pounds to get it to that. And then that wall there will break at another maybe 3. So it might be about 6 pounds total, but separated halfway for the break. So it's actually not too bad for a military trigger. I actually am keeping it just like this. I like it a lot. But yeah, maybe I'll use my other hand so you can see. But yeah, nice little affirmative stop, and then a very clean break. Reset, nice and audible, very clean. Go ahead, put safety back on. Let's see if I can rock this in gracefully. Not too bad. See, you get better at it. Anyway, moving on a little further down, nice hand grip here made out of polymer. You could take that off and expose more metal as well. You have a quad rail bottom on the sides, and then the full top here. Which brings me to talking about this mount. This is Sage owned, this is made by Sage International. So the way this clamps on, this is just kind of floating right here. You just clamp this on there. It's kind of quick detach. You just kind of put it there, close the doors, and I like to tighten these Allen keys here just to make sure it's nice and tight. And then this ends up just floating right over here. You get rid of the stripper clip guide as well, and then it just kind of rests, like this little thing just goes into a hole here. Interesting to explain, but anyway, so it just rests there. Nothing's really screwing that in, but this is just kind of hovering here off of that clamp there. So that's where I attach my rail from. Anyway, so going on from here, not too much, just your standard M1A from there. Let's see if I'm forgetting anything. I probably am. Sling attachment point here. You can throw that on the other side or whatever you want. Sling attachment points right here as well. Picatinny rail here. I don't know what for, maybe a bubble level or whatever you want to do. I don't know what the initial thought was for the Picatinny rail there, but it is decked out in rails. I even threw one on here, like I said, for possible night stuff. Let me think. I think I covered everything. That was probably a lot of rambling. You guys probably just want to see some shooting, so go ahead and do that now. Let's go over and talk about some 100-yard grouping. I didn't record the groupings on that, or the shooting, because it was just shooting at 100 yards, nothing too fancy. So let's go inside, run over the paper targets real quick, and then we're going to go ahead and get to some long-range shooting. All right, real quickly going over the targets. I promise I'll make this brief. I just have a couple different ones. So first off, just want to say I'm actually impressed because this is kind of thought to be a 2, sometimes 3 MOA gun, but most people say with really, really good ammo, maybe 1.5 to 2.5 can be expected. So it performed a bit better. We're going to go from worst group to best group. So the worst group came around 2 3/4 inches, so just shy of 3 inches, as you guys can see there. I already measured this before, and that was done with Freedom Munitions 175 grain boat tail hollow point. Like I said, that was the worst of the group, and I was kind of expecting about that anyway. Go over to some 155 grain boat tail hollow point. This is American Gunner from Hornady. We have this nice little 4-shot pattern here that's actually sub MOA, but have to include all of them, and we have 2 1/4, so that's actually getting really good, but less flyers, whereas this was consistently kind of sporadic. This was pretty darn consistent up here. That is 0.85, so yeah, sub MOA there, but again, have to count all of them, 2 1/4. Again, Hornady American Gunner. Then we have some Hornady AMAX. This is 168 grain, and this has, believe it or not, 3 holes right there, 2 right here. But furthest to furthest still is just shy of 1.5 MOA, 1.4 inches. Again, that is Hornady 168 grain AMAX. Then the best shot, or the best group of the trial came at exactly 1 inch, and that was with Federal Sierra Match King. That's 175 grain. So yeah, zoom in on that pattern right there. For the M1A, a gas operated, a Springfield Armory M1A, I wasn't expecting to get a 1 MOA group. So that is actually nice to see. Anyway, I think I went over those targets pretty quickly. If I do any more groupings, I will be sure to let you guys know, and especially on Instagram, feel free to follow me there. That's just Texas Plinking on Instagram. Any single time I go out, group my guns, I will be sure to show you guys via Instagram and all that stuff, or even make more videos. So that's what I got right now. So I say we jump over to some long range and see how it does there. All right, so out here doing some long range with the M1A. So we're just gonna see what we can do. Right now, conditions about 40 degrees. Wind is like 5 miles an hour or less, so the wind's not a problem. It's just the visibility. If you guys are from Central Texas, you guys know the weather we've been having recently, or at the time I'm making this video in February. Horrible weather. It just got done pouring just about an hour or two ago. Now we're just left with this really, really dense fog that I thought the rain would get rid of. So I have access to 1,000 yards, but I could really only see about 750 of them. So we're gonna go ahead and shoot 250 yards, that should be pretty easy. 500, then I see 600 yards, then I see 600 meters, which is 656 yards. Barely see those. And then I barely see 750 yards. Good news is, as you see, I'm talking at the gun range, which I don't normally do because usually there's a lot of shooters. There's nobody here. So that's nice. Nobody's crazy enough to shoot in these conditions. So the good news is, even at that range, I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up because the visibility is just so trash. But because there's no other shooters, we should be able to, after a hit, hear the ding, the little delay there. So we should be able to see if we have hits. Speaking of the camera, I'm gonna put it at 250 yards first. And a little off topic, people ask me how I get the long range shots. I use a Nikon Coolpix, that's a P900. It has 83 times optical zoom. For the money, it's actually a really great spotting scope if you wanted to use it for that, and a camera like I use it. But anyway, I put the link in the description. I think it's like under $600 for a very good camera. You can take stills with it too. Anyway, so link in the description if you guys are interested in that. But to the shooting, I say we start with the 175 grain boat tail hollow point front for your munitions at 250 yards. Let's get to it. Should be 1/8 of a mil. We got 5, 6, 7, 8. This gun kind of hurts to shoot without gloves sometimes in the cold. All right, let's see. All right, we're gonna go for that left one, the one the camera's on with the piece of tire hanging it up. Let's see what we can do. Easy peasy. All right, I think 3 shots proves the point at 250. Hopefully we could get good visibility at 500. 500 tells me to do 3.3. That might be off some because the ballistic coefficient is different with this. So it's probably going to be low, 3.3. We'll give it a shot anyway though, see what happens. All right, let's see. Well, the target on the left illuminated as if something got hit down there, but I didn't hear it. I'm not going to be able to see any splash at the moment. Let's try again. Okay, that was definitely a hit. I guess we'll just try that again. Cool. All right. Go for that same target, I suppose. That's a hit. Not sure what happened there. I couldn't regain sight quick enough. I think, if anything, I pulled it to the right. Let's see. All right. All right, yeah, it's on. It's just a little hard for me to do my job here, but 500 yards, it's on. Let's do 600. Why don't we just jump to 656, 600 meters. All right, and at 656 yards, it's telling me 5.1 mils. Again, that is with, I think, the Federal stuff, which has a better ballistic coefficient. We'll see how similar the dope is for 656. Yeah, if anything, it's probably gonna be low here, but hopefully we'll be able to tell. Let's go for the one on the right. All I know is that is not a hit, and I cannot see splash on that one. That is going to be a little rough. Yeah, I'm not too sure, guys. I got one more round, so might as well. Let's see. Yeah, not sure. Hopefully the camera will reveal something.
Are you hitting anything?
I just jumped to 750.
Yeah.
And if the windage is off, I'm not able to tell. Actually, if you could, let's see. If you could look at that little monitor right there.
Okay. All right.
See if you could get any splash out of that. Let's go for the circle in the middle there. If you see any splash,
All right, go ahead.
let me know. All right. Firing.
Can't see shit.
Yeah, all right.
No.
Done with that one for today then.
Yeah.
All right, so I can't leave you guys on that sour note there. Like I said, conditions were just horrible. I've been shooting long enough to know what to blame, and in that situation, I blame myself and just the forecast. The rifle itself was doing its job pretty well. So visibility was crap, temperature was horrible, all that kind of stuff. So instead of leaving you guys on that sour note, I'm just going to show you guys shooting 750 yards on a different day. This was the first time I ever had my rifle out there. I was zeroing it in. So when I was shooting 750 yards, and what you're about to see, I was just using pure holdovers. And this just shows you how much of a difference it makes when you can see your first miss, the impact, and then make your correction. I missed once and the rest were hits, and pay attention to the hits on the plate. They were all within about 5 inches. So with that said, here's some long range at 750.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a little to the right though?
Yeah. And about half a second later, then it fired.
That hit. Sweet.
Not upset about that one. That bird at 1,000 yards is really fucking stupid.
Oh, nice. That hit. Kind of want to quit while I'm ahead. Oh, sweet. So there it is. I wish I could have shown you guys more, but I guess we'll just save that for another video. Plus, this is probably getting like to a lengthy video just because it's a full review on it. But we kind of got the review out of the way, so expect to see this on a dedicated long-range video where we're going to go 250, 500, all that stuff, and we'll even hit 1,000 yards. I'm confident in that. So that is all for that. I guess we covered everything. So like I said, stay tuned for future videos. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.